All right, so the next session I'll be talking about is the design session. And for the design session, it was basically a panel of people that were in the design industry. Some of them were teachers. Actually, one of them was a professor. I don't remember where. I think it was in Tennessee. But he had 33 years in design and in design education. And then two women actually started this program called SEED, and it is a program for children or older kids in underserved communities, or kids at least that didn't go to like the top 1% of design schools that still have a high level of creativity and design skills but aren't necessarily looked at. And they started that and kind of just created a new way to assess success in design, and two of those ways are leadership and creativity. And they went into sort of how they measure those quite a bit. But to start off, they talked about how the other larger companies that one of these women was a part of, when she was a recruiter, they were told to only look at the top 10 art and design schools. So that's basically the top 1% of talent, and it's a very homogenized group, not a lot of diversity in there, and tend to have like a very specific demographic. So they basically wanted to flip the way that recruiting was done, and the way that education is done. And they wanted to really put kids on the right path towards a successful career in design. And a lot of the students, actually one of them did go to one of those top 10 schools, and she explained how she felt like she was left out sometimes because she wasn't, kind of like underrepresented in that group as a person of color. And when she went into the workforce, like many kids in those top 10 schools, they tend to be very good technically, but not as good with leadership skills and etc. So it helps to have that in a work environment, because a lot of what design jobs are in the work environment is collaboration and design thinking. And so now they're kind of teaching that collaboration, design thinking, and confidence, and kind of screening for that instead of more just simply just the technical skills. Can they work well with a team? In a normal job, they'll have like day-to-day 10 other hands touching the same piece that they work on. They may work on something for 30 minutes and then switch to something else. But having the leadership and creativity are really important and often synonymous in this profession. And the technical skills are very important too, but in a lot of ways aren't as important as those soft skills. So basically they put in these different metrics for how they measure it, and leadership development was focused on a lot. They had to have leadership be equally impactful as everything else. So they started with like your identity, which is a powerful component in leadership that they believe, and then creativity and innovation. And for identity, they did a lot of tests for the students, like Myers-Briggs, Strength Finders. They like, who are you in context with your peers? Who are you in general? How does this connect with your work, etc.? And they start with that kind of uniqueness, which is a really big part of leadership that gets overlooked. And then in terms of creativity and innovation, it's something that can be grown, they said, and it's not contrary to popular belief. It's something that you work hard on, and not necessarily just what you're born with, an ability. And there's sort of some trends that they identify that were important for that. And It's observation, questioning, prototyping, association, and networking. And then lastly, like some of the ways that they actually hire students is by taking them into workshops and having them work on a group project together instead of just assessing them only on their technical skills and looking at their portfolios and resumes. They actually work with them in an interactive and collaborative environment, which then helps them determine which candidates are actually the best for the job.